Okay. Well, good morning, and I want to thank you for joining me this morning for this very important announcement. Today, I'm announcing that I will be signing Executive Order Number 7, which restores the right to vote for Iowans who have already completed their felony sentences, announces that I will continue to do so on a daily basis for those who complete their sentence in the future. The executive order requires Iowans to complete any prison, probation, parole, or special sentence, and it still requires those who committed felony homicide offenses to individually apply for restoration. This is a cause on which so many Iowans have worked on for years. It boils down to our fundamental belief in redemption and second chances. Getting things done involves coming to the table, and I want to thank our broad and diverse coalition that has advocated for the restoration of voting rights of those who have completed their felony sentences. And this is not conclusive of everybody that's worked on it, but these are people that we've worked with quite a bit for the last couple of years. The NAACP, to the Family Leader, to the ACLU, and Americans for Prosperity, to the legislators that you see standing behind me. They've been phenomenal advocates, and that's not representative of all of them. That's who was able to make it on a short notice, and so many others. Quite simply, when someone serves their sentence and pays the price our justice system has set for their crimes, they should have their right to vote restored automatically, plain and simple. Iowa holds the unfortunate status as the only state in the country that prohibits anyone convicted of a felony from voting or holding public office for life unless they petition the governor to restore those rights. That creates the potential for uneven justice. It means people who have served their sentence and are seeking to get their lives back on track permanently are prohibited from one of the most basic rights of citizenship unless a single individual decides otherwise. And as we work to address issues of racial disparities, we cannot ignore how negatively and significantly the current process has impacted the lives of so many Iowans of color. The right to vote and seek public office is important for so many reasons, including enabling someone to become a full member of society again. But it's more than that. In one of my Condition of the State addresses, I mentioned the gentleman who came up to me at a basketball game in Waukee to tell me what it meant to him to have his right to vote back. He talked about the dignity that he felt when he entered the voting booth and how he hadn't felt that since prison. I've spoken to hundreds of Iowans with similar stories. You cannot imagine what it means to them. It's a big step for so many in their road to redemption and in proving to themselves, and maybe to others, that their crimes or their convictions do not define them. Today we are taking a step to at least temporarily fix that injustice in our current systems, that our current system creates. But let me be clear, an executive order is, at best, a temporary solution. It can be changed with the stroke of a pen by the next governor, which is not good enough. Something that is fundamentally right should not be based on the benevolence of a single elected official. That's why I have been fighting to amend the Iowa Constitution, and that's why I will continue to do so. I'm hoping that that same passion with which people have called for this executive order will now be directed at getting the constitutional amendment passed. And with that, I am pleased to sign the executive order. A little practice on this. See how quickly we can do it.
Can't see our smiles behind them.
I know.
My smile.
Okay, shoot, I should have done that. Okay, now. Okay. I see my director back there. Sorry. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I just want to, first of all, thank the governor for signing this, for putting it together. This is something that, as you see, I'm wearing the John Lewis t-shirt. This is something that a struggle. As a struggle that Congressman Lewis has fought for, till what the NAACP has fought for, what Black Lives Matter has fought for. Many hands have went into this, but it boiled down to the governor taking a stand, standing up to a promise that I know we had talked about over 2 years ago, where the governor said to me that let's get this done legislatively. If we can't, then the executive order is not out of order. And I want to say from all of us, thank you for doing this. It's imperative that we get it done. It's imperative for the rights for everyone to be able to vote. And this comes at a time where this is seriously a tribute to the legacy of Congressman Lewis. So thank you very much. And thank you for the media for coming. And to the Lieutenant Governor, I know you're there behind the scenes. Yeah, I want to say that. But again, Governor, we can't emphasize enough to say thank you. All right. God bless.
Well, the NAACP will issue a formal statement a little bit later. I did have remarks on my phone, but that's okay. I'll just wing it from here. But I want to take a moment also to thank the governor. This is a huge effort, and this is something, as you know, we have been working long and hard on. And I know from the NAACP standpoint, we have been working since since Governor Branstad revoked Governor Vilsack's order. So to see this come to this culmination, we are pleased. We know that even before you became governor, you listened to us during our meetings with Governor Branstad. And as we have walked through this process and understanding that we are looking for a permanent fix, absolutely. But as we have walked through this process and anticipated that if that fix didn't come the way we wanted to see it happen earlier this year during this session, that we would be continuing to persist for this. And we do want to thank you for answering the call. This is extremely important. The right to vote is a fundamental act of citizenship. And as Representative K. Abdul-Samad stated, John R. Lewis would be very proud today to see this happen, that the last state in our union would grant this right. It is hugely important. According to estimates from the Department of Corrections, there are about 4,700 people that are released from prison and from probation and parole each year. And so these Iowans would have the opportunity to register, save the 707 exception. So we are pleased to know that. So if you count back to Governor Branstad, we're into an estimate of 40,000 people that this supports today. So we are pleased with that. I know from the NAACP, I kind of mentioned that we were smiling behind the mask, but because this has been a work that is a long undertaking, and just, as we walk through this process, I just have to say, yeehaw, we did this, and we understand that there's a lot more to do, but certainly this is a strong step in the right direction. We're looking for more or we will continue to persist. I know that we have the governor's working group, the Focus Criminal Justice Working Group on criminal justice reform, so we're working on several measures there as well. And then also, even with the 707 exception, it allows for people leaving under that law to apply for, and so there's an application process there as well, so they're not completely excluded from the opportunity. So this is a good thing today. This is a good thing. It's time, and we appreciate it. So thank you, Governor, and thanks to all that were involved.
Okay, yep.
I just want to be real quick. Look what working together look like. Can we all clap for that? By building relationships and working together, we can get a lot of things done. So thank you, Kim. I appreciate you. You have been an unbelievable governor, and I love you for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, there we go. Okay, any other questions?
Governor, you did not include as a requirement in this
Right.
full payment of restitution.
Yep.
Can you explain why you left that out?
Yep.
And there's a law that you signed this year that
Yep.
included that.
Yep.
Constitutional.
So it wasn't in the constitutional amendment, and it's not in this. I've been an advocate for not all along, as they will attest to, as we've been working on the process. But when you're negotiating, there's things that you have to negotiate to keep it moving forward. And I think it is imperative that we get a permanent solution or an amendment to the Constitution. But that's just part of the process. I was trying to get it passed through both chambers and to keep things going. And through that negotiation process, that was one of the things that we needed to do to keep the process moving. And then that gave us an opportunity to continue to talk about that and to see if we could come to different solutions. But that's been something that I've always advocated for, so it's not a change in my position, but so that's why the executive order is written in the manner that it is.
Have you had conversations with Republicans in the Senate and things like that as you're talking about pushing against the Constitution?
Oh yeah, they know very well that this is not both chambers. I mean, I think I've got Senator Rosenblum with me here, who's been and Marionette Miller Meeks, who have been advocates in your caucus for that, and we will continue to work on it. And I said it even at the end of the session. I mean, you know, I'm not giving up. It's the right thing to do, but this is also the right thing to do, as you've heard from Betty and Akeo and Will. This really does make a difference, and this is going to allow a lot of people to participate in the election process, and it's really important. And it just is reaffirmed. I made a lot of calls to individuals to let them know in the previous process that I had restored their rights and to congratulate them. And without fail, if it wasn't a card or just a comment or a call back, the stories that I heard, and that's a small segment of those that will be impacted by this, was very heartwarming for sure, but just really, I think, indicative, again, that this was the right thing to do.
Governor, this is one of a host of things that's been called for in terms of criminal justice reform, policing reform.
Yeah.
What do you think needs to happen next session in terms of police reform, criminal justice?
Yeah, so I have created a task force that's actually addressing that, and I'm very grateful to the Lieutenant Governor Gregg, who is leading that. Betty sits on that task force. COVID kind of put a little bit of a pause on, but we got some significant things done last year. A lot of it we were able to do without legislation, but occupational licensure was one of the recommendations that really went into what we were able to get through the legislature, which I'm extremely proud of. And so racial profiling is kind of, I think, the biggest thing that your group is focused on right now, bringing a lot of different individuals in. Nebraska has done it for a while, and so they've had, Lieutenant Governor, I think 2 meetings, and one more scheduled next week. So they've got a pretty tight timeline trying to catch up from the kind of the suspension of the session with COVID, but they're meeting through Zoom and they're having great conversations, and the goal is to then, like they did last year, to make their recommendations to me I think prior to the first of the, well, I think it's by October, but anyway, later this fall, and then we'll take a look at incorporating some of those suggestions, if it needs legislation, into my program next year. So I'm waiting to see, and that's why I've got a great group together, and I'm letting them hash it out and bring in the experts, and then we'll take a look at what they recommend and go from there.
Governor, I'm seeing a lot of, just to tag on to Steve's question,
Yeah.
just briefly about, so you mentioned that you signed that piece of legislation
Yeah.
that would trigger if a constitutional amendment was passed, obviously.
Yeah.
So where does that legislation stand now? Will you, I mean, is this more or less a statement that you will not accept?
No, it's just,
Proposal that
yeah.
requires victim restitution, and how does that fit in with?
It doesn't require restitution for them to get their rights back. That's the process that I used when they applied for it. We're going to continue to negotiate and look for a permanent solution, and we'll see where those conversations go. I've had a lot of legislators reach out. They're very interested in continuing that conversation. So I'm very optimistic about that, and I look forward to sitting around the table and having those conversations with some really strong advocates that are with me today. So, that's part of the process, Caroline, and we're going to continue to work on it and continue to find compromise and continue to move to a permanent solution. So, did you?
I'm seeing a lot of people that you said helped worked on this order with you, advocates, and you did mention them in your speech, but they're not here today. That'd be FELON Des Moines.
Yep.
I know you held 2 meetings with them. You
Yep.
did deliver an executive order.
Yep. Yep.
Did you read that? And
Yeah.
if you did, what are some elements that you pulled from that to include
Yeah.
in this executive?
Well, I want to just thank, which I should have probably done in my remarks, I want to thank my legal counsel and my team. Many of you standing behind me right now have met with them on lots of different meetings throughout the last 2 years. And then I did meet with the Black Lives Matter. And I want to say I got lots of letters from individuals just encouraging me to do the executive order, to do it in a timely manner. The ones that I got at home, especially, I'm not sure, sometimes it takes a while to get to me here. I read every single one of them. I've tried to respond, so if you didn't get a letter from me, it maybe just got missed. But I've worked very hard because I appreciate it when people take the time to write to me and talk about something that's important and how strongly they feel about getting it done. And so I tried to get back to them and let them know we were having the conversations, we were working on the language, we were really close to getting it done. So this I kept to a really small group. These are individuals that I worked with for the last 2 years. I talked to Betty the other day. She has a summit in October, and I said the same thing to Akeo. And we'll do a much bigger celebration at that point and bring more people in. Jamal and I have talked about setting up, getting our young people more engaged and helping them be familiar. We've also talked about that, and it's really important. And so we got to figure out what that looks like and how we move forward with that, but my commitment is to do that. So we're just more familiar with what the process is, how you work through it, how you run, just whatever that may take, and I know that'll take a lot of listening too. So we're trying to figure out what that looks like as we move forward. I don't have every answer today, but we're trying to create a group or a committee or that will help us really define some of those. So there's a lot of similarities in it. Not everybody got everything that they wanted, but again, that's part of the process. I think, one of the things that I heard loud and clear was the not having to, it doesn't eliminate the obligation, but it's not a prerequisite in getting your vote, your right back. And so that was, I think, a consistent message that we heard loud and clear, and this executive order does that.
We're going to go to 2 more questions. Lynn, Capital Dispatch, go ahead.
Governor, you committed to signing the executive order a few weeks ago. Can you just describe what these last few weeks have been like for you? Have you had some difficult conversations with legislators? And how did you get to the point to finalize the executive order?
Well, we've been working on it all along, and as I've said, my legal team has made has had several meetings with several different groups to kind of just talk about where we're at, what it looked like, the direction that we were going in, and we're in the midst of a pandemic, so we've been working on that. We've been trying to get kids back to school. So lots going on in the state of Iowa and in the country, and so we got it done, I feel like, in a timely manner. Individuals will have ample time to get registered and to participate in the process. In Iowa, we're one of the states where you can register the same day that you can vote, so we have that. But this is, requests are just now, voter request, absentee ballot requests, I'll get it here, are just going out now. So I think we're really in a good spot to be able to make sure that those that now have the right to vote are.
Last question, Channel 5.
All right, hi. People convicted of murder are not able to get their rights restored under this executive order.
Yeah.
So they can still apply for restoration. Can we get clarification on those that commit sexual assault and rape?
Yeah, so I'll have you just meet with the legal counsel afterwards, and they'll walk through. I think that would be more succinct and would be clearer if they would be able to do that. But again, I think the point that we need to reiterate, while they're not included in the automatic, it's not a permanent no, that they have the opportunity to petition to me like the old process. And who was I meeting with the other day that asked me to automate that? Oh, I don't know if he's here. Anyway, we're working on that too, so they don't, it's a fillable form, so they don't have to, Daniel, yeah, they don't have to print it out and then submit it. So we're, you know, hopefully there won't be as many because of the process because of the executive order we just signed. But I'm always interested in automating the processes, and so we'll be working on that too. So again, I just want to say, you know, to everybody here, again, I think whoever said it, both of you, probably all of us would say it. You know, we're just getting started. Our work is far from done, but I really appreciate the work that all of you put into this to help us get this far, and look forward to continuing the conversation moving forward. So, thank you.